Eric Clapton, the riff that spoke volumes. A story from the One Riff, One Impact series. It wasn't loud, it wasn't fast, it wasn't flashy, but somehow it became one of the most powerful riffs in rock history. Just a few notes, no distortion, no solos, no shouting. That's all Eric Clapton needed to stop the world in its tracks. And it happened in the most unexpected way. On a quiet stage, with an old acoustic guitar and a lifetime of pain behind each note. It's January 16th, 1992. Eric Clapton walks onto a small stage at Bray Studios in England. He's not here for a sold-out arena or a world tour. He's here to film an episode of MTV Unplugged, a show that strips artists down to their bare essence. No amps, no effects, just you and your guitar. Clapton sits on a stool, holding a Martin 000 42. For a moment, the crowd doesn't know what to expect. Then he plays Layla, but not the version anyone remembers. This isn't the 1970 anthem. There's no screaming slide guitar, no crashing piano, no urgency. Instead, it's soft, gentle, worn in like an old memory. The original Layla was a wild cry, a man begging for forbidden love. But this version, it's something else. It starts with just 8 notes, a small acoustic phrase in D minor, a simple slide up the neck, a delicate pull-off, a pause, and then silence. But in that silence, there's weight. Clapton isn't just playing a riff, he's telling a story. To understand how that moment hit so hard, you have to understand what Clapton had been through. By 1992, he was no longer the brash young guitar god called Slowhand. He was a man in mourning. Just a year earlier, he lost his 4-year-old son, Connor, in a tragic accident. That grief hangs in every note he plays on the Unplugged stage. This version of Layla isn't about obsession or lust anymore. It's about regret, reflection, maturity. He's not chasing something in this riff. He's letting go. The technique itself is simple. Clapton plays fingerstyle, no pick. His thumb holds down the rhythm on the bass strings. His fingers gently roll across the trebles. There is a pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Each stroke is soft, textured, not mechanical, but alive. In the tone, that Martin 0 to 42 brings warmth and clarity. It doesn't color the sound, it reveals it. But the true tone doesn't come from the wood or strings. It comes from Clapton's touch. You can feel his years in every bend, every slide. His vibrato is slow, wide, emotional, like someone holding back tears. It's blues at its most human. Musically, the riff isn't hard to play, but emotionally, it's advanced. Clapton uses space better than most players use speed. He breathes between phrases, letting every note linger. There's a subtle syncopation, a laid-back feel just behind the beat. That push and pull is what makes it feel alive. He's not showing off. He's speaking, quietly, honestly, and somehow, that made it even louder. The world took notice. The Unplugged version of Layla became a massive hit. The album sold 26 million copies, becoming the best-selling live album of all time. It won 6 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. But more than the accolades, this moment redefined who Clapton was. No longer just the electric soloist of Cream or the heartbroken bluesman of Derek and the Dominoes. He was now the quiet sage, the survivor, the storyteller, and all of that came through in one riff. 8 notes, a guitar, a man who'd lived a lot of life, in silence that said everything else. So what can we learn from that? We learn that restraint is powerful. You don't need to fill every bar with notes. Sometimes, space is the most musical thing you can play. We learn that tone is in the fingers, not the gear. You can buy the Martin, but you can't buy feel. You have to earn that. You have to live it. And we learn that simplicity isn't easy. To hold back, to trust the riff, takes confidence. And Clapton had that in spades. Layla Unplugged didn't just rework a classic. It reframed a life. It turned a riff of desperation into a whisper of acceptance. It showed us that age and pain can make music deeper, not weaker. It reminded us that one riff, when played with truth, can leave a bigger impact than 100 solos ever could. So if this riff ever hits you in the chest, If it reminded you of something you've lost or helped you hold on, drop A in the comments. And if you want to hear the stories behind more legendary riffs that changed the course of music, subscribe for the next chapter of One Riff, One Impact. Because sometimes, one riff is the whole story.